William Hill sponsors Joshua vs. Molina on Sky Sports Box Office.
I think you cannot avoid that. There's always tickets will be stolen, but you have to make it compelling enough that people want to watch it on the big screen and watch it at home, and not invite like it used to be, do a party, invite friends and have a barbecue, and then what you want to have 20 people sitting around the little iPhone, and watching the fight. No, you're not going to do that.
What fighters do you think are under the PBC banner right now you can see emerging as pay-per-view stars in the next year or two?
Well, I think after a performance like tonight, Charlo, I think you heard the arena. Like a bit of a bad boy image, and as we've seen, coming back to UFC again with Conor McGregor, you don't have to only have the good boy. Sometimes, people like to cheer against the bad boy as well. So somebody like that in big matchups, I think he can definitely become a pay-per-view attraction. I think Deontay Wilder, the heavyweight champion, I believe that he is the best heavyweight champion, and he needs to have these opportunities to go into those big fights against the Anthony Joshuas. I think if he goes in against Anthony Joshua, he would win. So I think he is one. A guy which is not under the PBC banner, but who is a fighter which, I'm fortunate to promote his next fight, is Mikey Garcia. I think Mikey Garcia has a tremendous upside. I think he can really be the next pay-per-view star. Bilingual, exciting, knows how has a punch, knows how to box. It's just is ready. To really break through. So there's some fighters. Another guy which I think is going to be the future of the sport is Errol Spence. And what we need to do is we need to put these kind of fights together, because you see with Charlo J-Rock, that's a dangerous fight, and if you have two undefeated guys in the prime of their career going at it, one guy is coming out as the big potential star, which he sort of was before, but tonight he really proved himself in a way. You can prove yourself when you challenge yourself against the best. And J-Rock didn't really, so he got stopped, okay, but he's a young guy, it's a learning experience for him, and I think, anybody's going to want to see him again, and he'll have another night. And that's why it's so important to have the best fight the best, then nobody will lose.
Joshua and Wilder could that be a super fight, depending on what happens?
Yes. If Joshua, let's say, goes and beats Klitschko, and Wilder does his thing, and then imagine that. This truly will be two young guys, two Olympians, two big guys, two big punchers. The question is going to be whose chin is going to hold up better. Yeah. That's going to be like a massive global promotion for the true heavyweight championship of the world. So they are those kind of fights.
Because that could be a pay-per-view, $8 million plus type deal, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What's your first, congratulations on the tremendous first show back.
Thank you, good to see you.
What was it like kind of being in the promoter's seat again?
Always great to see you, Mike. Happy holidays. All the best. See you soon.
What was it like being back in the promoter's seat again?
Well, it was fun. It was very meaningful to promote such a great card. And I remember Abner Mares actually was the first champion at Golden Boy. And here I'm doing my first show at Ringstar. And the first champion is Abner Mares. And so I'm very happy for him. And Quellar, came up short tonight. But I know he'll be champion again. So it was a great card. Charlo and, all those guys, Lipinets, Lubin, all those, it was great fights, it was a great venue, by the way, as well. The crowd was really into it, and definitely a place to come back to.
Charlo had a tremendous performance, looked great, obviously against great competition, but then that thing happened afterwards. What were your thoughts on that whole situation?
Well, I saw there were some issues, and I jumped into the ring and tried to calm him down a bit. He was just so excited. It was the excitement, This was there was a lot of pressure on him, and there were a lot of people doubting him, saying, he was avoiding J-Rock for so long, and so on. And so there were a lot of doubters, and I think he proved then tonight all these doubters wrong, and it was like raw emotion there in the ring. There was no ill will or so. He just sort of he was still in the moment. and I could see it in his eyes, and he was like still like ready to go, and I was almost scared a bit, you know, like that's it. But no, we calmed him down, and he was okay. So it was just emotions, you know, which after a victory like that on that kind of stage against another undefeated fighter, we sort of like have to understand. And then obviously the crowd started booing, and you know, so he has the bad boy image, but you know, the bad boy image sells as well. Look at Conor McGregor, look at Floyd Mayweather.
Richard, congratulations on a fantastic card for your debut of Ringstar Promotions. Now that all that is said and done, how good are you feeling of putting on such a phenomenal job?
Oh, I'm very happy. I really couldn't have worked out better. The crowd was entertained. I think those, actually next to me was a couple sitting, which was the first fight. Steven Espinosa invited them to fight for the first ever fight, and they said, well, we are fans. And I think those who came tonight, I saw that like the reaction I think we would get from all of them. Tonight was really entertainment, and it showed the people who has never seen boxing how great and how exciting boxing can be. And those who have seen it are reminded, you know, on why they are boxing fans. And you know, I know 2016, some people say it was a difficult year and so on, but nights like that I think make up for maybe some of those other fights, because tonight was a great night for boxing.
Abner Mares did a phenomenal job following the game plan to perfection. What was your thoughts on on his performance?
Well, discipline, and it just showed how good Abner Mares is, now a four-time world champion. He's clearly one of the most skilled fighters, and sometimes, you know, there were some flashes where I felt he was going to get carried away and almost too brave for his own good. But you know, he really stuck by the game plan and fought a very, very disciplined fight, which he needed to. He knew he had to, because Cuellar is a very strong guy, and one punch can change the game.
You had the Balderas brothers here ringside, your prospect signed to you guys. What did you tell them afterwards, or kind of during just kind of seeing the moment of a big fight and kind of letting them know this is going to be you one day?
Well, they were very excited, and they really liked it here, and they told me, well, you know, can I fight tomorrow? They're like ready. They loved the venue, they liked the atmosphere, and I think they were very impressed. And they met many of those champions which were here this weekend. They met them as well, so they're just happy and great young kids, and one day it will be them.
Charlo said that he may jump up to 160. Obviously, Triple G's at 160, but there's a man in between 154 and 160 that doesn't have an opponent yet. His name is Canelo Alvarez. Who would you want to see Canelo fight next? And should, part two to that question, should Charlo jump right in to the 160 mix, or take the do the Andre Ward route?
Well, that's really not something I can answer. You would have to ask him. You know, I'm more like looking at it from like what fights which fights would the fans like? What would be entertaining in the ring? What would be fights I would like to see as a fan? And I have to tell you, with Charlo sort of like wanting to move up and Canelo wanting to move up as well, in a way, they're sort of like in the same boat. Neither one really is like, okay, let's just go to 160, but sort of like thinking about it. Both of their names start with a C and end with an O. And you have exactly, somebody's O must go. So you have that, you know, and then Canelo likes to fight in Texas. Charlo is from Texas, so you know. So you start like, you know, I start like thinking, it's like, man, and you know, and Oscar and me, we know each other, so you know, I mean, I could just imagine it would be a hell of a promotion. I think everybody would have a great time. The fans would be entertained, and I think it would be a big pay-per-view.
It doesn't seem like you gave that a lot of thought.
No, I'm just thinking here, you know, and I mean, in a matter of a few seconds. So imagine if I would think for like 5 minutes, all the shit I would come up with.
It grew organically.
Well, you guys helped a little bit.
Is this the type of card that fans should expect from Ringstar coming forward? Because obviously you had this one, it was a break card. Then you have Mikey Garcia, Dejan, and Leo Santa Cruz, and Frampton coming up. So should we expect this type of cards?
Well, let me ask you, when I was a Golden Boy, I delivered fights like that. I mean, I really didn't deliver many mismatches. Let's face it. I mean, I had like Garcia and Matisse on an undercard. Okay, I mean, it's like unheard of. So I'm a fan. I like to see great fights, and I like to get great fights done. All right, thank you guys. Happy New Year.